My wife's little assistant had been blowing through my card, like money grew on trees. And at some fancy French restaurant, he actually called me a kept man, a total freeloader. That pissed me off. So I froze his card and left him stuck with a bill he couldn't pay. He got humiliated in front of everyone. And the manager made him stay overnight. When Layla found out, she just tapped my nose and smiled. Seriously, a grown man getting jealous of some kid? Now he's a laughingstock because of you. She didn't seem mad. Life went on like nothing happened until my birthday. When she took me out for French food, she ordered a ton of expensive dishes and bottles of wine. Said some friends were coming to join us later. Babe, I gotta step out real quick. Be right back to celebrate with you. I waited until the restaurant was about to close. She never came back. Neither did her friends. When I tried to pay, the manager said, "Mr. Dickerson, this card's been frozen." Frozen? This was the card Layla gave me before we left. She'd taken mine saying since it was my birthday, the bill was on her. I've been so touched. Even patted myself on the back for landing such a sweet, thoughtful wife. Now she was Mia. I called her like 50 times. Nothing. If this card didn't work, I was screwed. The manager's face went from polite to annoyed real fast. Mr. Dickerson got another card. Just so we're clear, we don't do tabs here. You knew that after last month, right? Oh, I remembered. Last month, Layla's assistant went on a spending spree with her card, then called me a kept man. A useless living husband. Wait a minute. A bad feeling hit me. Was this Layla getting payback for what I did to her precious assistant? Right on cue, I heard heels clicking at the entrance. I turned around and there was Layla walking in, arm wrapped around Jacob Delgado, who was glaring at me like he wanted me dead. Behind them was a whole crew of her friends, all watching me like I was the evening's entertainment. Rick Dickinson, you love watching people squirm when they can't pay, huh? Well, now it's your turn. Let's see how you handle it. The room went nuts. Heard this, Rick? Guy married into money. Now his wife shows up with her new boy toy to watch him suffer. That's what you get for being a kept husband. With nothing going for you. For real. How long did he think his looks would last? The second a rich woman finds a younger, hotter guy his free rides over. My fists tightened. The humiliation burned through me. Just like I thought. Layla set this whole thing up for her little assistant. She walked Jacob to a table and pulled out a chair for him. "Don't worry, sweetie," he said. "Whatever Rick did to embarrass you, I'll make sure he gets it back tonight times 10. Jacob's face lit up. He leaned over and kissed her forehead. "Thanks, Layla." Then he turned to me, eyes full of spite. "Rick, you're just a useless kept man. Who gave you the right to freeze my card?" He grabbed an expensive bottle of wine and smashed it at my feet. Crash. Wine splashed all over my face, making everything worse. Ha. Pathetic loser. Now I've got Layla to cover my tab. I can smash as many bottles as I want and she'll pay for it. But you, he grinned. "You're done." Layla watched me with that same mocking smile. "Stop glaring at me like you want to rip me apart. If you've got money, pay up and leave." Ha. What money? He couldn't pay this bill if his life depended on it. All those dishes, all those bottles they already opened. The total alone would make him choke. He's nothing but a kept husband without her. He's a nobody to really rub it in. Layla stood up and looked around the room. Anyone who helps Rick out of this mess becomes my enemy. And an enemy of the Galloway family. Everyone in Capital City knew. The Galloways were the richest family around. Nobody would dare cross Layla. A few business contacts I'd worked with, people I thought were friends, started to get up. But the second Layla dropped that threat, they sank right back into their seats. Scared she'd notice them? Damn. She's not playing right. I thought since they're still married, she was just venting. But this is serious. After that warning, who's dumb enough to help him? I lost it. I stormed over and grabbed Layla's wrist. "Is this really what you want? To humiliate me in front of everyone for some pretty boy?" Layla sneered and slapped me hard across the face. Crack. Yes. I turned back to her stunned. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of being the perfect couple. She was the one who chased me when I first came to Capital City. At our wedding, she made vows. Loyalty till death, love me forever. And now 3 years, that's all it took. Every promise, every memory gone. Wiped out by her cold, calculated cruelty. People always said kept husbands have no dignity. Second, a younger, prettier face shows up. The free ride's over. But Layla never got it. I didn't marry into her family for the Galloway's money. I did it because I loved her. She pulled out a tissue and turned away, wiping her hand like she touched something dirty. "You knew how much I cared about that assistant. But you just had to push, Rick. If you can't pay this bill, I'll have the manager strip you naked and march you out of this restaurant." The room exploded with laughter and jeers. Every pair of eyes stared at me like I was a circus act. She's really going all out, making her own husband walk out naked for the new guy. Can you believe this? He won't be her husband for long after tonight. He's just a stranger. This is gold. Let's just watch. Some older rich women at nearby tables looked me up and down. Oh, I want to see if he's got ABS under there. My face burned. Before we left the house, Layla took my wallet, made me let my guard down completely. All I had was this expensive suit on my back. Not a single dollar, and my phone was dead. That's when I realized she planned every single detail. Time's running out. The restaurant wants to close, and they're waiting on you to pay. Don't tell me you're broke. Because if you can't pay, they'll hold you here and call the cops. Sound familiar? You did that to me once, remember? Jacob pulled out a cigarette, lit it and made a point of blowing smoke right in my face. That smug look pushed me over the edge. Before I knew it, my hand shot up and I swept everything off the table. Dishes crashed, glass shattered everywhere. Layla rushed to Jacob's side, then signaled her bodyguards. He grabbed me and threw me back. Rick, stop it. What's wrong? You can mess with people, but nobody's allowed to fight back. I glared at Layla, my eyes burning. The Galloway family shot to the top of the wealth rankings. In just 3 years, and I was the reason why. I used my family's influence to clear every obstacle in their path. Even the underground players, who wanted to cause trouble for the Galloways, backed off when they found out I was involved. Tonight was supposed to be different. On my birthday, I planned to finally tell Layla the truth. That I wasn't some nobody. I was the heir to the most powerful of Northport's 4 great families. I planned to bring her home to meet my parents. I never imagined someone could change this fast. I'd misjudged her, overestimated who she really was. Layla, you really want me to walk out of here humiliated? She let out a cold laugh. What did you think? That I set all this up just for fun? Jacob, feeling bold with the bodyguards around, punched me in the face. Listen up, Dickerson. You've got 2 choices. 1. You can't pay and they haul you off to jail. 2. You get on all fours with that steak in your mouth and crawl out of here barking like a dog. Oh, and here's the difference. Option 1, you leave naked. Option 2, you keep your clothes but lose your dignity. He laughed. Come on. Pick already. I'm getting impatient. Dozens of eyes watched me like I was the night's entertainment. My fists clenched until my knuckles went white. I looked at Layla without any emotion. Fine, since this is what you've chosen. When Galloway Group goes bankrupt, that's on you. The words barely left my mouth before Jacob burst out laughing and the whole room joined in. Huh? Did you hear that? Has this guy read too many romance novels? Does he think he's some secret billionaire? He's lost his mind. Layla's eyes blazed with fury. She thought I was bluffing too. She grabbed a plate of food and threw it at me. Cut the crap. You're gonna bankrupt my family. You think you have that kind of power? Worry about yourself, manager. The manager caught her signal and walked over with security. His voice was cool and professional. Mr. Dickerson, will you be paying cash or is someone else covering the bill? At least he was keeping it civil. I scanned the room and spotted a business contact I'd worked with before, back when I was handling deals for the Galloways. I started walking toward him. Second he saw me coming, he jumped up and backed away. Rick, stay away from me. I can't pay for. Relax. I'm not asking you to pay. I just need to borrow your phone. Can I? I just gotta call a friend to bring cash. Ha. He's still putting on an act. Jacob shouted. Who in Capital City would actually show up for you? Go ahead, let him make his call. We'll give him 30 more minutes. If nobody shows up with the money, I'll let all these lovely single ladies here strip him down. A guy the richest woman in the city's been with can't be all bad, right? Jacob turned to the group of wealthy older women nearby. They've been eyeing me like wolves the entire time. Jacob's people handed me the phone. The second I got it, I called my friend and told him to get the money here in 30 minutes. Time ticked away, 10 minutes left. Jacob couldn't wait anymore. He stood up. I must be an idiot to believe this guy. His so-called friend is gonna show up with cash. Yeah, right, exactly. He's just stalling. Manager, have your guys break his hands and feet already. Nobody's dumb enough to cross the Galloway family for this loser. Stop wasting time. As the manager and security guards closed and looking ready to kill, I raised my hand. Hold on. I've still got 10 minutes. When those 10 minutes are up, someone will be here with the money. Bullshit. When those 10 minutes are up, hell, I'll give you an extra 10. If nobody shows, I'll bite down on a piece of meat and crawl out of here on all fours. Like a dog. My eyes lit up. You said it. Remember that? Yeah, I said it. So what? Everyone here is my witness. The room went wild again. This is too good. I don't even want to go home now. Who knew dinner would come with a show like this? 10 minutes were almost up. One of the rich women couldn't wait. She reached over and ran her hand across my chest. Don't touch me. I slapped her hand away. Oh, those pecs. That body didn't even need to touch to tell. Very nice. She turned to Layla. Miss Galloway, why don't you just give him to me? Layla laughed and drained her wine glass, admiring her fresh manicure. Why not? If he can't pay, you're all welcome to do whatever you want with him. Then I'm going first. Everyone was sure I couldn't pay. They stopped caring about my consent and started grabbing at me. My voice dropped to ice. I wanted to kill someone. But the woman didn't care about the look in my eyes. Jacob shot a mocking look at Layla's bodyguards. Hold him down. Pin him so these ladies can have their fun. Yes, sir. The bodyguards swarmed me, surrounding me completely. I looked at Layla. My heart went cold. We were still technically married. And here she was letting other women grope me. She was humiliating herself as much as me. She didn't care. Stop looking at me like that. I'm not helping you. I just want Jacob to feel better. Layla's blessing. The women got bolder. Come with me, handsome. I've got money, sweetie. I can pay your bill for you. No. Come with me. I'm prettier than her. They told the guards to hold me down while they tore at my clothes. I fought with everything I had. Men in the room burst out laughing. I memorized every single one of their faces. You think this is funny? In a few minutes you'll be the joke. And you. I looked at Jacob. He spat at me. Strip him. Time's up. No more stalling. He didn't finish. Doors flew open. A squad of men in black suits stormed in, moving with military precision. They took down the guards surrounding me one by one. Then came Gavin Mercer, the most powerful bank executive in Capital City. He walked in carrying a briefcase, his face stone cold. Mr. Dickerson. I've got the money. Glad I made it in time. The silence in the restaurant was deafening. It wasn't just quiet. It was the sound of air being sucked out of a room before an explosion. Gavin Mercer didn't look at anyone else. He strode straight to me, his polished Oxfords clicking on the marble floor with the rhythm of a ticking clock. He set the briefcase on the table, right next to the shattered wine bottle Jacob had thrown, and clicked the latches open. Snap. Snap. He flipped the lid. Inside lay neat, thick stacks of $100 bills. $50,000 easily. More than enough to cover the bill 10 times over. Will this suffice, sir? Gavin asked, his voice calm but carrying to every corner of the room. He didn't wait for an answer. He pulled a pristine handkerchief from his pocket and offered it to me. For the wine stain, Mr. Dickerson. I took it, wiping my face slowly. My eyes never left Layla. She was frozen. Her hand was halfway to her glass, her mouth slightly open. The color had drained from her face, leaving her looking like a porcelain doll that was about to crack. Beside her, Jacob's smirk had faltered into something resembling confusion and fear. Gavin. Layla whispered. Gavin Mercer? What are you doing here? Gavin turned slowly. He looked at Layla the way a lion looks at a gazelle, with mild, predatory disinterest. Mrs. Galloway, he nodded. Or should I say, former Mrs. Dickerson, given the circumstances? I am here at the request of my client. Client. Jacob scoffed, trying to regain his bravado. Rick? Rick is a broke loser. He doesn't have clients. Gavin's gaze shifted to Jacob. The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. Mr. Delgado, Gavin said, his voice ice. You are currently standing in a property financed by my bank. Your car lease is held by my bank. And the credit card you so freely used to embarrass Mr. Dickerson last month? Issued by my bank. He picked up a stack of cash from the briefcase and tossed it onto the table. It landed with a heavy thud. Here is the payment for the dinner. Keep the change as a severance package for your manager. The manager, who had been ready to strip me moments ago, was now trembling. He knew who Gavin Mercer was. Everyone did. He controlled the flow of capital in this city. Mr. Mercer, the manager stammered. We didn't know we thought. You thought wrong. Gavin cut him off. He turned back to me. Sir, the car is waiting. Your father sends his regards. He said it's time to come home. Father. The word hung in the air. Layla's eyes widened. She looked at me, really looked at me, for the first time in years. She was searching for the kept man she thought she knew, but all she saw was a stranger in a ruined suit who held the keys to her destruction. Rick? She asked, her voice trembling. Who is your father? I stepped forward, right up to the table where she sat with her boy toy. I leaned down, placing my hands on the tablecloth, ignoring the glass shards. You never asked, Layla, I said softly. In 3 years you never once asked about my family. You just assumed I was nobody because I chose to be with you. I looked at Jacob. He was shrinking in his seat. Remember the deal, Jacob? I asked. 10 minutes are up. Money is here. Jacob swallowed hard. It was a joke. I don't joke, I said. Get on the floor. Rick, stop. Layla stood up, trying to grab my arm. You've made your point. Let's just go home and talk. I pulled my arm away. Home? I don't have a home with you anymore. And as for talking, we'll talk through lawyers. Gavin. Yes, sir. Ensure Mr. Delgado fulfills his end of the bargain. If he doesn't crawl out of here barking, call in his car loan. And his student loans. And freeze his accounts. Gavin smiled. It was terrifying. With pleasure. Jacob looked at Layla. Layla, do something. Layla looked at Gavin, then at me. She saw the power shift. She was a businesswoman, first and foremost. She knew when she was beaten. She sat back down. I can't help you, Jacob. Jacob's face went white. He looked at the door. It was a long way away. Slowly, painfully, he got down on his hands and knees. He picked up a piece of the steak he had thrown on the floor with his teeth. The room was silent. No one laughed this time. It wasn't funny. It was brutal. Jacob crawled. He barked. It was a pathetic, whimpering sound. I didn't watch him leave. I looked at the crowd, the friends who had been ready to watch me suffer. Enjoy your dinner, I said. I turned and walked out, Gavin flanking me like a royal guard. The car was a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Not Layla's flashy red Ferrari, but a sleek, black beast that whispered wealth rather than screamed it. I sank into the leather seat. The adrenaline was fading, replaced by a deep, bone-weary exhaustion. Here, Gavin handed me a tablet. The dossier you requested. I took it. On the screen was the financial breakdown of the Galloway Group. It was a house of cards. They had leveraged everything to expand rapidly, banking on my silent influence to secure loans and permits. Without me, the foundation was rotting. How bad is it? I asked. Critical, Gavin said. They have a $50 million loan due next week. The one you personally guaranteed with your trust fund, secretly, of course. Pull the guarantee, I said. Already done. The notice was sent the moment you walked into the restaurant. I looked out the window at the city lights blurring by. I had built this city for her. Now I was going to tear it down. And the divorce? Papers are drafted. We're citing infidelity, emotional abuse, and financial misconduct. We have the footage from the restaurant security cameras. It's compelling evidence. Good. The car pulled up to a massive estate on the outskirts of the city. Iron gate swung open. This was my parents' house. The Dickerson estate. My father was waiting in the library. He was an older version of me, steel gray hair, eyes that missed nothing. He was pouring 2 glasses of scotch. Rick, he said, handing me a glass. Happy birthday. I took the drink. Thanks, Dad. I told you she wasn't worth it, he said, sitting in his leather armchair. I know. You wanted to prove you could be loved for yourself, not the name. Noble. Stupid, but noble. He took a sip. So, is the experiment over? It's over, I said. I'm ready to come back to the firm. My father smiled. Good. We have a merger to discuss. With the Galloway Group. I raised an eyebrow. Merger. Hostile takeover, he corrected. By Friday you'll own her company. You'll own her house. You'll own the chair she sits in. I swirled the amber liquid in my glass. Make it Thursday. Layla didn't see it coming. The next morning, she woke up to her accounts frozen. Not just her personal ones, the company operating accounts. Vendors stopped delivering. Construction sites shut down. She called me. I didn't answer. She came to the office, my office at Dickerson Holdings. The receptionist, who knew exactly who she was, let her wait in the lobby for 4 hours. When I finally let her in, she looked frantic. Her hair was messy. She was wearing yesterday's clothes. Rick, she cried, rushing toward my desk. What is going on? The bank. They pulled the loan. They said my guarantor backed out. I swiveled my chair around. I was wearing a new suit. A better suit. Hello, Layla. She stopped. She looked around the office. The view of the skyline, the expensive art, the nameplate on the desk. Richard Dickerson, CEO. This is your office? She whispered. It is. But, you work in construction management. You told me. I told you I worked in development. You assumed I meant hauling bricks. I meant developing empires. She sank into a chair. Why are you doing this? You asked for it, I said, tossing a file across the desk. You wanted a show. Here's the finale. She opened the file. It was the foreclosure notice for her family's estate. And the acquisition offer for Galloway Group. The offer price was $1. $1? She shrieked. My company is worth millions. Your company is worth negative $50 million in debt, I corrected. Without my guarantee, you are bankrupt. This offer saves you from prison for fraud. I found the cooked books, Layla. The money you funneled to Jacob. She went pale. I can explain. Don't bother. Sign the papers. And if I don't, then the SEC gets a copy of this file. And you go to jail. Jacob is already talking to the DA, by the way. Gavin offered him a deal. Immunity in exchange for testifying against you. He wouldn't. He crawled out of a restaurant for money, Layla. He has no loyalty. Tears streamed down her face. Rick, please. We were married. I loved you. You loved the idea of controlling me, I said. Sign. She signed. Her hand shook so hard she tore the paper. Get out, I said. Where will I go? I don't know. Maybe ask Jacob if you can crash on his couch. Oh wait, he doesn't have a couch. I repossessed it. The takeover was swift. I gutted the Galloway group. I fired the sycophants. I kept the hard-working staff who Layla had mistreated. I moved into the Galloway estate, my estate now. I changed the locks. I burned the sheets. Life returned to a rhythm, but it was colder. I worked. I made money. I didn't date. 6 months later, I was at a charity gala. The same kind of event Layla used to drag me to so she could show off. I was standing at the bar when I felt a tap on my shoulder. It was Layla. She looked different. She was wearing a simple dress, off the rack. No yueli. She looked tired. She was holding a tray of champagne flutes. She was working catering. Rick, she said softly. I looked at her. I waited for the anger, the satisfaction. But there was nothing. Just a dull echo of a memory. Layla, I nodded. I just wanted to say you look good. Thanks. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know it doesn't matter now. But I am. I lost everything because I was stupid. You lost everything because you were cruel. I corrected. Stupidity is forgivable. Cruelty isn't. I know. She looked down at the tray. Can I ask you something? What? Did you ever love me? Or was it all a lie? Like your job? I looked at her. I remembered the early days. The laughter. The way she used to look at me before the money got to her head. I loved you more than anything, I said honestly. That's why it was so easy to destroy you. You taught me how. I took a glass of champagne from her tray. Keep the change, I said, dropping $100 bill onto the velvet. I walked away. I didn't look back. I walked out onto the balcony. The city was spread out below me, glittering like diamonds. My city. My phone buzzed. It was my dad. Good job on the merger, son. Proud of you. I smiled. I took a sip of the champagne. It tasted like victory. Bitter, cold, and absolutely necessary. I was alone. But for the first time in 3 years, I wasn't lonely. I was free.